Hello. This is going to be a reading vlog just to help me get started. So I am actually 42 pages in to Exciting Times by Naoise Dolan that I bought in Bath on my birthday book crawl in September 2021. It is now 2022 and I only read 11 books last year out of 25, which was my goal. I got a job, I'm busy, I have friends, it's fine, I'm not mad, but I want to get into it. So I'm going to continue with Exciting Times into 2022. So I have this much left to go. I'm really enjoying it so far, but I just thought if I vlogged it, I might actually read it. I'm going to read you the blurb. When you leave Ireland to spend your parents' money, it's called a gap year. When Ava leaves Ireland to make her own money, she's not sure what to call it, but it involves a badly paid job in Hong Kong teaching grammar to rich children. 2. Julian, who likes to spend money on Ava and lets her move into his guest room. Edith, who Ava meets while Julian is out of town and actually listens to her when she talks. Money, love, cynicism, unspoken feelings and unlikely connections. Exciting times ensue. So yeah, I've heard people compare it to Normal People, which I am not gonna lie, I've not read and I don't want to read because I know I would find it so frustrating that the whole plot is about how people don't talk to each other. Not saying that that's a bad plot or that Sally Rooney isn't a very talented writer, I'm sure they are, but I don't want to read that. So hopefully this isn't doing that. It's interesting so far. I like the narrative voice of Ava and the way she tries to sort of figure out Julian's feelings. I'm just kind of enjoying the plot so far. So like, they never really talk about what they are to each other. They're not dating. They kind of just shag. But she lives with him now in his guest room and she like packs his bag for him when he goes on holiday or goes away for work. Like, it's weird, but I like that it's undefined. It seems very like up my alley at the moment, this sort of like premise. So let's see. Ignore my washing. So I get why people probably what's the word? I get why people like collate this with Normal People by my understanding of reading Normal People reviews, because you basically are inside Ava's head and she's trying to guess what Julian is thinking. Like, anything he says, she usually follows with like a list of reasons why he might have said that, which is really interesting as a dynamic as someone who doesn't really think, like, I'm not totally concerned with what other people have said, like in terms of like a self-conscious way, whereas Ava is completely at his like will. Like, she lives in his house, everything is paid for by him, so like she's completely, what is that phrase? She is at his disposal, and so she has to kind of analyse what he's saying in order to know like where she stands with him. So it is really interesting. I read just then like 20 pages, so I feel good. I might keep reading this afternoon. Problem being that it gets to like 4 PM and it goes dark and I don't want to sit and read. I want to watch telly and do nothing. It's later on. I have finished work and have been reading and have been jotting down quotes and things as I go. Very much enjoying it. I did want to do that in the first bit and I kept being like, oh, I'll go back and look at them, but I'm not going to do that. I can't be bothered. Really enjoying it. Like, even more now, their relationship has become more kind of like, although they've like somehow talked about more and defined it more, at the same time it's even more elusive and you clearly can't tell how they stand with each other. Really enjoying it, but some good quotes that I picked out. The trouble with my body was that I had to carry it around with me. I'd go around all the sinks and turn on the taps, wait, then watch her inch her feet up, about making someone feel uncomfortable. It was as if someone else ironed everything for her whole life, and her role was to make new creases. Amazing. So I finished part 1, which is Julian, I think. yeah, part 1 Julian. I'm now on part 2 Edith. So I'm going to leave it there for today. So I'm now on page 88. So I've read like 40 pages today. And I'm going to make some dinner, but yeah. Hello, I haven't been filming because I've been reading. I've been really enjoying this book that I've just like been reading and then writing quotes down. So I've literally smashed out a load of pages. This is how much I've written down of a 275 page book. So yeah, bit of a fan of Naoise Dolan's use of words. I finished it today. I raced through the end, like I finished work and just like sat and didn't want to do anything else. Really enjoyed it. I wrote some notes as well as just like writing quotes down. She's from Ireland, so we hear about Irish politics, we hear about abortion, we hear about capitalism, misogyny, as well as the things going on in Hong Kong as well. So it's really like we cover some big topics. Brexit, bloody Brexit comes up, something else. Basically, it covers lots of big topics in a very like real way, in that they come into conversation and to her thoughts and then they go again, just like they do in real people. That's the thing I'll say about most about this, is that she feels like a very real character to be reading her thoughts. We get to Edith. I'm like, is this going to be a friendship? Is this going to be more? And then I realised there were 3 toothbrushes on the cover and I was like, ah. Then it's interesting that she doesn't tell the other one about the other one, but because they're in the same space, she like compares them and talks about how Edith uses the space that she's seen Julian in, which I thought was really interesting. Ava's a really interesting character because she doesn't think she's good enough to have an effect on Julian and Edith. She thinks that because she's not this sort of wealthy, high-achieving corporate person, she's just this person from Ireland who teaches English as a foreign language in Hong Kong. Somehow she can't affect them, they can't have an impact. She can't have an impact on these people, which is just really interesting to be in someone's head like that, because like me and Ava are very different, not in that like regard necessarily specifically, but like in general. It's really interesting seeing how someone else is thinking, because you fully are just like in her head. So she teaches English to Hong Kongian children, but she's Irish, so she talks to us about the English that she's teaching the kids, and like that's proper, as in that's like got all the technical phrases and all the like specific rules about English language. But then she also goes, in Ireland we do it like this, and then you get like a little insight into how Irish people speak, or like have little intonations, or just, it was just really interesting having like this layered approach to language of like, this is what she's specifically teaching children who speak Mandarin, English, and then also she's also then teaching us, presumably in my case anyway, English. She's teaching us Irish use of English, and then also actual Irish phrases as well. I just thought it was interesting because obviously I'm interested in language, so it's cool to see her using language in that way. And there was an interesting part where she was sort of voicing her own issues as if Julian was saying them to her. So it was like a way for her to kind of diagnose her own problems and the way that she thinks, as if someone else was thinking it about her. Like the only way she could deal with her flaws was to sort of pretend someone else was insulting her. The ending, I'm not going to spoil it, but the ending annoyed me a little bit. Like I was really, the last sort of 20 pages, I was like on the sofa, like I was like screaming. And the last like paragraph, just a tiny bit. I wish it had ended without the final chapter, which is like 3 pages long. I wish it had ended the chapter before, because that was a great ending. The dial tone beeped like dots to put to music. Beautiful. The last bit just just annoyed me. But this is a book without a plot. This is a book based on characters, based on thoughts, based on meaty, juicy descriptions, says the vegan. But that ending just very slightly annoyed me. Not in terms of like what happens, because just the description of it. Anyway, I finished first book of 2022 is done, and I'm giving it 4 stars. And I enjoyed it. And look how beautiful this cover is. This is such, this whole colour scheme is very me.